Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Jeremy, and today in our fourth and last video in the Creating a Thesis Statement series, we're going to be putting everything together. Our content will come from Grade 10, Unit 3, the Cold War, specifically Day 15. And our video objectives, we're going to create our thesis statement using Step 5 of the Thesis Statement Tool, and we're going to revise the thesis statement in Step 6 of the Thesis Statement Tool. In our previous videos, we went over the 6 steps for the thesis statement tool, and we're now going to be on the last 2. Also in our previous videos, we went through the steps, and our first one was to really figure out, well, what is the question asking us? So we broke down the prompt and then rewrote it in our own words. In step 2, we answered the question, and then we noticed that this answer was a bit bare bones. It answered the question, but there was something missing. We didn't have anything to support this response. So then in step 3, we tried to really flesh this out. We tried to brainstorm, well, what evidence do we know about the origins of the Cold War? And then in step 4, we realized there were some patterns, there were some themes that we could categorize and put our evidence into. And we came up with 3 categories. So in this video, we're going to use everything we've done now from steps 1 through 4, and we're going to put them together to form our thesis statement. These are the last 2 steps of the tool. You may wish to pause here and work on these 2 steps on your own. Right? What you may notice is that in steps 5, we actually are looking back to step 2, which was our initial answer, our belief of this topic, and we're going to look at step 4. So this is where our equation comes back, right? And what you're going to notice is that that plus sign here is a because, and that's going to be what helps to bind everything together to form our thesis statement. So here is how I put everything that we had done from steps 2 and 4 together. What you'll notice is that I have step 2 here. There were many political and economic factors that contributed to the start of the Cold War. That's my step 2, my initial answer, my belief about the topic. And then I have my because, which is our plus sign here. This is going to be what links and binds our evidence to our answer. And then I have my answer, which are the 3 categories from step 4. Because instability and uncertainty after World War II, US and Soviet Union emerged as superpowers with very different ideologies, and the 2 superpowers wanted to protect their interests. So we've put everything together here. And this is actually not bad, but there's always room for improvement. And so our next step is to revise and polish the thesis statement. So you may wish to also work through this and polish your thesis statements too. So let's take a look at our final product. When I was going through and trying to revise and polish, I realized that I just wanted to go back to my breakdown of the question. Because remember, in the breakdown, I mentioned something about origins, because that's what helped me understand the question. So in my revision, I put some of my breakdown of the prompt in there as well. And even when I was talking about evidence 3, I had mentioned that there was in step 3, there was global instability. So I added that too. So my final thesis here says, while there were many factors that contributed to the start of the Cold War, so now I'm kind of merging my political and economic, the origins of the Cold War can be traced to specific historical circumstances because of the global instability and uncertainty after World War II. The US and Soviet Union emerged as superpowers with very different ideologies, and the 2 superpowers wanted to protect their interests. It's very much the same and similar to what I had in step 5, just a little bit more polished and a little bit smoother. You could have polished this in many other ways. Your thesis statement might look very different from mine, but this does do everything that we need to do. And if you are unsure if your thesis statement does what you think it should do, use the criteria that we had mentioned, and you can find this in the adapted thesis statement tool. These criteria can help you see, well, does my thesis stand up to what makes a strong thesis statement? Does it tell the reader how you interpreted the subject matter? Well, let's take a look. So, yeah, that there were factors that contributed to the Cold War, and even that there are historical circumstances that led to it, specific ones. And I'm telling the reader here what to expect. I'm telling the reader what specific historical circumstances to expect: the global instability and uncertainty, the two superpowers, and that the two superpowers wanted to protect their interests. And this is not just a yes or no. We have evidence to support our answer. We put it into categories. There's no quotes in here at all. We're just giving examples and evidence. And this is definitely something open up to interpretation and dispute. So it actually hits all of our points and criteria here. So you may want to do this to really make sure that your thesis statement is as strong as it could be. I hope you have found this series helpful and have a great day.